Good evening, and welcome back to News Around, the sanctuary where we dissect the soul of the celebrity world, refusing to be satisfied with the surface-level noise. We live in a digital coliseum. Social media has transformed into an arena where reputations are torn apart for sport, where the silence of a woman is often mistaken for guilt, and where the past is weaponized to destroy the present. It is a brutal landscape, often devoid of empathy. But every once in a while, a figure steps into the center of this chaos and refuses to play by the rules of cruelty. Today, we are analyzing a moment that has shaken the foundations of the gossip columns, not because of a scandal, but because of a rare and thunderous act of integrity. We are talking about Emin Günenç, a man who watched the woman he once loved, İlsu Demirci, be besieged by a mob of faceless critics. He watched, he waited, and then, he roared. With a single, unfinished sentence. "She is mine." He did not just defend a reputation, he redefined the boundaries of respect between ex-partners. This is not a story about a breakup. It is a story about the endurance of loyalty when the romance has faded. It is a story about a man standing as a bulwark against the tide of online hatred. Why did he break his silence now? What is the hidden meaning behind his cryptic, possessive, yet protective words? And how has this single act shifted the entire cultural conversation around celebrity breakups? Tonight, we go behind the headlines to uncover the heart of the matter. Before we embark on this emotional journey, I have a request. If you believe that honor still has a place in the modern world, please destroy that subscribe button. And for those who want to help us continue to champion truth over toxicity, the join button is your badge of honor. Your support is the shield that protects independent journalism. Now, let's witness the silence being broken. To understand the magnitude of Emin Günenç's intervention, we must first unflinchingly examine the darkness that preceded it. 4 days, the world of celebrity gossip was in the grip of a fever. It was a spectacle of modern cruelty. The target was İlsu Demirci, a young actress known for her grace and her preference for privacy. The internet, however, does not respect privacy. Following the distortion of recent events in her personal life, social media users, emboldened by anonymity and fueled by speculation, launched a campaign of vitriol. The comments were not merely critical, they were cruel. Suggestive posts questioned her character. Excessive criticism dissected her every move. The narrative being spun was one-sided and venomous. Users interpreted the breakup as unilateral, painting Ilsu as the villain in a drama she hadn't even auditioned for. Old wounds were ripped open. Accusations against her reputation and honor began to circulate with the terrifying speed of a viral infection. In this digital storm, silence is rarely interpreted as dignity, it is interpreted as an admission of guilt. Ilsu remained silent, perhaps hoping the storm would pass, but the mob only grew louder, mistaking her quietude for weakness. It was a classic witch hunt, and the flames were licking at the hem of her career. While the world typed furious comments, Emin Günenç was watching. According to those closest to him, the actor had been observing the events from afar for some time. He was not oblivious. He was not indifferent. Sources say he read the comments, one by one. He saw the insults. He felt the weight of the injustice being heaped upon a woman who had once held his heart. Imagine the psychological toll of that vigil. To see someone you know intimately. Someone whose character, flaws, and virtues you have mapped out in the quiet moments of a relationship, be reduced to a caricature by strangers. 4 days, he chose to remain silent. It was a strategic silence, born of the hope that intervening might only add fuel to the fire. He wanted to prevent the matter from escalating. He wanted to give the public the benefit of the doubt. But there is a breaking point for every man of conscience. The situation reached a nadir where the attacks were no longer just gossip, they were an assault on Ilsu's fundamental human dignity. The accusations against her honor crossed a line that Emin could not, in good faith, ignore. The watcher could no longer just watch. It was at this precise moment of moral crisis that Emin Günenç unexpectedly stepped before the cameras. There was no PR team scripting his emotions. There was no rehearsed smile. His tone was described as calm, yet possessed of a terrifying determination. He began with 2 words that echoed with the force of a gavel striking a judge's bench: "Enough is enough." These words were not a casual plea. They were the release valve for the anger and pain he had been accumulating. He was not speaking as a celebrity protecting his brand, he was speaking as a man protecting a human being. What followed took everyone by surprise: fans, journalists, and perhaps even Ilsu herself. Although he emphasized that the attacks were unfair and ruthless, it was the subtext that stunned the audience. Emin hinted that Ilsu was not merely a footnote in his history. She was not just an ex. She held a much deeper, more permanent place in the architecture of his life. And then came the phrase that will be debated in gossip columns for years to come. In a moment of raw vulnerability, Emin uttered a sentence that he deliberately chose not to finish: "Attacking Ilsu because she's mine." He stopped there. The deliberate omission of the predicate, "What is she?" His love, his past, his responsibility, amplified the impact of the words 1,000-fold. Let's analyze this. "She is mine." In a different context, it could sound possessive. But here, in the midst of an attack, it sounded like a shield. It was a declaration of jurisdiction. He was telling the mob, "You do not have the right to touch her, because she belongs to a part of my soul that you cannot access." Some interpreted this phrase as my past. Others saw it as my greatest lesson. And still others, the romantics among us, heard the person I still cherish. According to the deepest circles of gossip, the message was unambiguous. Emin was declaring that Ilsu was still precious to him, and he would not tolerate anyone hurting her. He placed himself between her and the world. This is a moment that forces us to question our own definitions of loyalty. Does your duty to a partner end when the relationship ends? Or is there a code of honor that lasts forever? Emin seems to believe in the latter. We want to hear your stance. If your ex was being attacked, would you stand up for them? Pause the video and share your moral compass in the comments. We read every single perspective. And please, if you value this kind of deep, ethical analysis, like this video. It helps us rise above the noise. If you want to support our mission, the join button is waiting. Now, let's look at the ripple effect. Emin's declaration did not just land, it exploded. It had a domino effect across the social media landscape. Thousands of posts were published in a short time, but the tone had shifted. The vitriol was replaced by calls for respect and awareness. The hashtags changed from attack vectors to shields of solidarity. Many fans interpreted Emin's attitude as a sign of supreme maturity and sincerity. In the world of celebrity gossip, where breakups are usually followed by shade, diss tracks, and tell-all interviews, seeing a man display a protective side toward his ex-girlfriend was considered a revolutionary act. It was unusual behavior, an anomaly in the matrix of modern dating. Some commentators suggested that there might be unresolved feelings behind the statement. They argued that you do not defend someone with that level of ferocity unless the embers are still glowing. But even the cynics had to admit, it was a brave move. But what of Ilsu? 4 days, she had been the silent eye of the storm. There has been no clear public statement from her yet, but the whispers from her inner circle paint a poignant picture. It is rumored that she was quite affected, deeply touched, by Emin's words. Imagine her position. Isolated, misunderstood, feeling the weight of the world's judgment. And then, a voice from the past speaks up for her. It is believed that Ilsu may have felt a release of pressure, a loosening of the knot in her chest. In gossip circles, the narrative is that Ilsu has regained a sense of not being alone. She considers Emin's statement not as a PR stunt, but as a genuine show of loyalty. It is said that after hearing his words, she had a long, emotional conversation with her closest friends. She reportedly couldn't hold back her tears, uttering a sentence that breaks the heart: "At least there's still someone who knows me." This single sentence reveals the depth of her isolation and the magnitude of his comfort. In a world that was busy misunderstanding her silence as guilt, Emin understood it as weariness. He validated her reality. Emin's words weren't just a momentary outburst of temper. Subsequent investigations have revealed the depth of their impact and the calculation behind them. According to information leaked from the actor's inner circle, Emin spent days planning before making this statement. He didn't just snap. He considered the consequences. He weighed the risks. Some of his friends even warned him, "Be quiet. Don't let this get worse. Don't drag yourself into the mud." It is the standard advice given to celebrities: stay out of it. But the real problem that tormented Emin was not the mud, it was Ilsu's silence. He knew her. He knew that she wasn't silent because she was guilty, she was silent because she was exhausted. He realized that the gossip columns were misinterpreting her dignity as defeat. He realized that the world was hurting her, and by staying silent, he was complicit. That is why the statement "she's mine" wasn't an act of toxic possessiveness but a protective reflex. It was a way of saying, "I vouch for her." The famous actor endorsed Ilsu's character and stance, putting his own reputation on the line to salvage hers. After this statement, the balance on social media began to shift tectonically. Users who had previously made harsh criticisms quietly deleted their posts. Others wrote messages apologizing to Emin, and by extension, to Ilsu. Emin's fans, in particular, described his attitude as true manliness. This is a crucial cultural moment. He redefined what it means to be a strong man in the public eye. It isn't about conquering women, it's about protecting them, even when they are no longer yours to hold. Unlike the harsh controversies often seen in the world of celebrity gossip, this statement stood out for its emotional depth and human tone. It reminded everyone that the concept of ex-lover doesn't always have to be associated with hostility. It can be associated with gratitude, with history, and with enduring care. Now, inevitably, all eyes are on the future. The question hangs heavy in the air: will they reunite? The romantics are hopeful. They see this as the first step toward a reconciliation. However, sources close to the couple inject a note of realism. They claim that for now, mutual respect is more important than a romantic reunion. It is emphasized that Emin's statement isn't necessarily a sign of getting back together, but rather a supreme example of loyalty. But in the world of gossip, no possibility is entirely ruled out. It is rumored that there may still be unresolved feelings behind these words. You do not fight a dragon for someone you do not love on some level. Whether that love is romantic or platonic remains to be seen. This story is likely to be debated in gossip columns for a long time, not because of what it reveals about their relationship status, but because of what it reveals about their character. Emin Günenç proved that you can walk away from a relationship without walking away from your humanity. He made a huge impact on the world of celebrity gossip, teaching us all a lesson in grace under fire. Whether they find their way back to each other or simply move forward as allies, they have already won the most important battle, the battle for their own narrative. What do you think? Was Emin's unfinished sentence the most romantic gesture of the year, or simply the act of a good friend? Let us know in the comments. We read every single perspective. Thank you for joining us for this special report on News Around. If this story of loyalty moved you, please subscribe and turn on notifications. And to our Join members, thank you for being the guardians of this community. Until next time, remember, silence is powerful, but speaking up for the truth is heroic. Goodbye.